All right, what's going on, guys? My name is Logan with West Desert Wheeler. I came out here today to an area I like to call Babylon, and I brought almost all of my RC rigs with me, so it's gonna be a full day of awesome crawling. Today, first rig I'm going to start out with is my latest build, the new G-Speed carbon fiber V3 chassis. It has a Hobbywing Fusion in there. It's got an element transmission with a low range RC motor flip kit, axial AR45 axles, a Proline cliffhanger body, Proline Flatiron tires that I stole off of my comp truck, and a lot of other goodies in here. So if we take a look at this, you see that low range RC motor flip kit for that element transmission gets that motor very much far forward and low, exactly where you want it. And then I've just got a battery velcroed onto the slider for today. I've still got some tuning to do on this truck. Obviously, this is the first time I've run it, and very much looking forward to seeing how she does out here on the rocks. I did get a full video done on how I painted this body, so if you guys are interested, be sure to check it out. It's all matte clear over everything. That's how I fogged up the windows, as well as all of the paint job on here. Really excited to see how this thing climbs. Let's get to it. All right, so one aspect of this truck that is also very impressive is the Hardcore RC high clearance links, along with that angled skid. Man, this thing has a lot of belly clearance, especially on those breakover angles. So certainly looking forward to seeing what kind of new obstacles I can make happen, because I have the clearance for it now. Another aspect I want to mention is that the element transmission has 11% overdrive in the transmission, and then I put an overdrive gear set in the axles. So I should have about 20%, 25% overdrive to the front tires. So should make for some awesome lines that are possible. This is the most overdrive I have in any of my trucks except for my Phoenix, which has that optional 33%, which the majority of the time I run in 6%. So right there, already seeing the low center of gravity there. I was able to lay the truck over on its sidewalls, and it kind of just drove it out. I don't know if I'll have the width to get up through here, but just seeing what this truck can do today. Now, as any of my subscribers have seen, I have a awesome SCX-10-2 build that I refer to as my comp truck, and that's what I've been running as my Class 2 rig. I've kind of got intentions for this to be a Class 2 rig as well. So we're gonna find out in time if this one is more capable than my SCX-10-2 or not. But regardless, looking forward to trying the flat rail build, G-Speed. Pretty big name in the flat rails. Excited to see how she performs. This looks like a cool little wedge. So that overdrive really helps pull that front end right up in this pinch. And then once we get it up there, let's see if we can't drive all the way to the end and then just try and turn up and out of it. Getting that body into those rocks pretty hard there. I stole the Savox monster brushless servo out of my comp truck to get this one up and running. Not the new paint job. That's it. Nope, that wasn't it. All right, let's take another shot of this. You need to get up on the wall. You need to climb the right side higher than the left. That's going to drop the bottom left tire down further in, which is going to allow us to pivot around and turn left out of this. That front tire is going to drive up over the wall. Right tire drops in the crack. Forward weight up front should be able to pull those rears up. There it was. I knew the line, I just had to make it happen. So my local hobby shop, Sky RC in St. George, Utah, is now carrying the full line of G-Speed products, which is why I decided to get a G-Speed truck. Going down there and supporting the local hobby shop by buying a new chassis kit, and of course, gives me an opportunity to try out the G-Speed trucks. Gives you guys some new content here. It's a win for everybody. So if you're in the area, be sure to stop by Sky RC and check it out. even if you're just traveling through, Cody's a great dude and can certainly get you helped out on whatever project you're working on. Oh yeah. Oh no. Oh, I had it and I celebrated too early. Overdrive will help pull that front end further than the back does. So when you're stood up like that, it helps it keep it planted. Need to get that driver rear over to the wall right there. Oh man, it almost has it and then it just slips every time. So you guys will have to let me know, do any of you have a G-Speed? I'm curious to hear your thoughts and maybe some tuning tips on these trucks. The very cool part about these is just how crazy light the chassis is. So you can actually run a little bit taller overall height to the chassis rail or the skid plate, and your center of gravity is still good because there's not a lot of weight up top. So you can add some clearance compared to something like a steel C-channel chassis and not hurt your center of gravity all that much. Because a lot of these gates at my local competitions, they rely on people running their trucks slammed, because most of the guys locally do, including myself. And then they put on obstacles that really hang up your bottom skid plate. So having a truck that's just a little bit taller can be a big advantage. Just kind of watching her put in work. This thing isn't a flex monster, but it's wheeling really good. So this crack is no joke. This thing is very challenging. You get this huge overhang on the passenger side. You got to sneak your tire on the inside of it and then push into it without letting that driver tire fall off or get forced off. You got to get the fronts balanced just right, and then you got to make the rears follow it. I love these Hobbywing Fusion systems. They are so smooth and quiet. And then not only that, on a truck like this where space is limited, having that 2-in-1 just really simplifies everything. Okay, let's get a look at the rear so we can make sure our rear is tracking where we want it. I think we're pretty much on the line, guys. Look at this inside. We're gonna keep that front passenger high to try and force these rears higher up on that wall. We're starting to hit our slider, which is going to try and force the front right off the wall, which it might be able to drop a little bit and be all right, just like that. Okay, we need to get it moving a little quicker, sorry. And there you go, nailed it, crawled that, no problem. That's a tough one, no doubt. Dropping into this super cool canyon in here. I've driven this a few times with other rigs, and I usually struggle a lot on this next climb because it's very steep. Probably not going to show very well on the camera, but trust me that a lot of trucks will flip over backwards doing this, so definitely want to test the limits here on the G-Speed and see what she thinks. Like, this is the point where most trucks just flip over backwards. It could really impress me here. That was it. It just crawled it. I've had to like shoot this hill a bunch of times. Damn, that was cool. And then from here, let's see how far we can go because it gets crazy steep. This truck is not getting slowed down by this vertical challenge. Okay, it's starting to lift a little bit. Kind of got the fronts where I want. I need to wiggle the rear. Holy cow, just crawled up that. I don't know if I've ever done that line. That was pretty wild. This truck's doing pretty good. That forward motor, I knew that was going to be the key to this one, and no doubt it's kicking ass. So me and my friends have been out here a few times, and we've tried to come up with a trail through this area. And this obstacle being included on one of them. And I think this obstacle is what made me want to name the trail Paradox, because in this pinch up here, you have to get one tire higher than the other to make it work. But it's just the wrong width to where it makes you fall off, depending on which side you try to climb. So we'll see if the G-Speed can handle this. So that right tire comes up, but then it's going to dump the left low if you don't get it right. Yep. So then if you climb that left higher, then it dumps your right off. So it turns it into a paradox. Which ones do you do? And on top of that, it's steep. I'm trying to have that overdrive save me here. I think we lost it. See if looking from the front changes our perspective at all. Just scrubbing along that ledge because I want to get my rear set up correctly for this. I want to try and get my driver rear as high as I can while still catching that passenger rear. So we kind of missed the passenger already. There's like one perfect line that you have to hit through here. This thing seems like it's wanting to unload pretty bad on this. Is that it? Is that it? Nope. All right, guys, we're gonna finish out the run on this G-Speed with this really cool canyon that me and my buddies actually built a bridge through because we couldn't find a crawlable way up and out. Starts out with just a super fun little pinch obstacle. Crawl on through. And we're gonna work our way over and up to the bridge. Trying to do another ravine pinch. It rained out here somewhat recently, and so everything's slick. The rocks are cold. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Gotta take a reset on that one. Get the fronts higher on the driver's side. Just without the traction, it doesn't want to do it. That's something you can do to try and gain a little altitude, is reverse and turning the opposite direction. I mean, it worked for me here. Sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes it works very effectively. Like, I need to get that driver rear on the wall, just like that. And it'll stay balanced as I hit that next crack up here. Bring the front end up. Huge part of this is just watching that rear tire and using the front end to put the rears where you want it. Float it to the rock. I'll take it. All right, guys, I got a bunch more videos to make, but obviously very excited to try out the new G-Speed build, and I think with a little more tuning, this thing is going to be an absolute weapon. Really looking forward to running this one out there in the competitions and more on the rocks. Until next time, guys, keep the rubber side down.